In this lesson, we're going to be looking at transversals and the relationship between the angles that are formed with the intersecting lines. The transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines. So in the figure, line L is the transversal because it is intersecting lines M and N. First thing that we should understand as far as the angles that are formed when a transversal intersects two or more lines. When it intersects two lines, the angles that are between the two lines being intersected, those are interior angles, and the angles that are outside those two lines that are being intersected, those are exterior angles. So first we need to identify the corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are the non-adjacent angles on the same side of the transversal. One is interior and one is exterior. So angles 1 and 5 are corresponding angles. Angles 3 and 7 are corresponding angles. Angles 2 and 6 are corresponding angles, and angles 4 and 8 are corresponding angles. Next are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are on alternate sides of the transversal, and they are both interior. So in this figure, angles 3 and 6 are alternate interior angles. Angles 5 and 4 are alternate interior angles. And alternate exterior angles are also on alternating sides of the transversal. They are both exterior. So angles 1 and 8 are alternate exterior angles. Angles 7 and 2 are alternate exterior angles. And then lastly is consecutive interior angles. Consecutive interior angles, which are also referred to as same side interior angles, they're on the same side of the transversal, and they are both interior. So that would make angles 3 and 5 consecutive interior angles, and angles 4 and 6 consecutive interior angles. In this first example, we want to identify the types of angles that are formed, starting with angles 3 and 5. Angle 3 and 5, they're on the same side of the transversal. One is interior, one is exterior, so they're corresponding angles. Angles 6 and 12, they are on alternate sides of the transversal, and they're both exterior, so they would be alternate exterior angles. Angle 4 and 8, they're on alternate sides of the transversal. They are both interior, so they would be alternate interior angles. And then angles 2 and 3 are on the same side of the transversal, and they're both interior to the two intersecting lines, so they're consecutive interior angles. Angles 8 and 12, they are on the same side of the transversal. One is interior, one's exterior, so they are corresponding angles. Angles 5 and 9 are on alternate sides of the transversal. They are both interior to the intersecting lines, so they're alternate interior angles. Angle 4 and 10, those are the two opposite angles or non-adjacent angles that are formed by intersecting lines, so they are vertical angles. And then angles 6 and 7, they are adjacent angles whose non-common side forms a straight line. So they are adjacent, and since their non-common side forms a straight line, they're also a linear pair. All right, in this example, we again want to identify the pairs of angles that are indicated, starting with angle 4 and 10. Angles 4 and 10 are along the transversal G. They're on alternate sides of the transversal, and they're both interior, so they're alternate interior angles. Angles 2 and 12, they're along that same transversal G. 2 and 12 are on alternate sides of the transversal. They're both exterior to the intersecting lines, so they are alternate exterior angles. Angles 7 and 3 are along the transversal J. They are both on the same side of the transversal. One's interior and one's exterior, so they're corresponding angles. Angles 13 and 10 are on the same side of the transversal. They're on the transversal K. They're on the same side of that transversal. They're both interior, so they're consecutive interior angles. 8 and 14 are along the transversal H. They are on alternate sides of the transversal. They're both interior, so they're alternate interior angles. And angles 6 and 14, they are along the transversal H. They are on the same side of the transversal. One's interior, one's exterior, so they're corresponding angles.